Hey, welcome back to another edition of the Friday Show. I'm Ray Pollock here with Joe Neville's Bloodstock editor for the Pollock Report, and a special guest, an old friend, a dear friend from Canada, Jennifer Morrison. You can read her writing, handicapping at CanadianThoroughbred.com. This would be a great time to talk about opening weekend at Woodbine, which is supposed to be Saturday, but they're in lockdown, and we've got Jennifer here to kind of let us get a better understanding of what's going on in the Ontario area and what the prospects are for getting racing going and getting a full season of thoroughbred racing. They were cut short last year at the end of the meeting, so it's a tough way to start 2021. Jennifer, welcome to the Friday Show.
Thanks for having me, Ray. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be here. And hello, Joe. Good to see you again. And it's nice to be here. I wish it was on little better circumstances, but
so what for our viewers, what is the current status in the Toronto area in Ontario?
Yeah, so in Ontario, we are in a stay-at-home order, which means, and of course this has been sort of the ongoing joke for the last few months, we were in lockdown and shutdown, and then we had all these color code areas. But a week ago, we were ordered a stay-at-home order as the prospects of the positive tests and, more importantly, the number of people in the hospital and ICU very ill, being overrun. Hospitals, I mean, they're building hospital areas in parking lots now of places. So we're going to stay at home until May 6th, which means that, we can't have anything open. There's essentially nothing open. Grocery stores are open, and we're supposed to stay at home. We can go outside, and hopefully the weather will start to get warmer soon. But it's scary because the numbers are higher than ever since this started a year ago.
Yeah, we feel as though here in the States, with vaccinations going out there, 3 to 4 million a day now being administered, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. And what is the difference? Is the vaccination rollout just really slow up there?
Well, that's definitely been part of the problem. There's no question. I mean, we're having vaccination centers closing down this week because there's not enough vaccines. There is not enough vaccines for what has been going on, and that's definitely a major part of it. If anybody can explain to me, it just boggles the mind how the numbers have gotten so high. I know that, we opened up Toronto and Peel, which I'm in Peel, which is a big area beside, suburbs beside Toronto, opened up for outdoor dining around St. Patrick's Day and Easter. And I know that things got a little out of hand. And I think, people being weary and tired of the whole thing, we've done our best to stay inside. But I think, we're starting to hear about a lot of people that had gatherings, and restaurants had, virtual mob scenes there. And now we're getting like just the other day, 100 people found to be positive from a restaurant that opened outdoor dining, which outdoor dining in Canada means that you're actually in a tent anyway. So right. You're kind of in a closed area. But so it's just been disastrous. And like I said, today was very hard because we had like almost 5,000 new COVID cases. And, there's hundreds and hundreds, 400 or 500 people in ICU. It's awful.
Yep.
So what's the vibe among the horsemen at Woodbine through all of this then? How have they kind of been handling, getting their opening day pushed back?
Yeah, so, it really came as a surprise, I'd say maybe a month or so ago. We got the really hard, we started late last year, June 6th. We were supposed to start April 18th. And then we got the last 12 days of our season lopped off because we went into a shutdown, and, the government didn't really understand, and the health department didn't understand that there wasn't a lot of difference between training horses in the backstretch and the same people being the ones that are running them. So anyways, Woodbine had a great record of racing last year. And then when the numbers started going up, and, it's just been shocking that, when we found out, well, opening day is in danger. And now it looks like, and I know that Woodbine and Ontario Racing and the HBPA, they have all been in contact with the Toronto Board of Health and Premier Doug Ford, and that's his riding too. Premier Doug Ford's riding is where Woodbine is. But, when the racing community found out that, we're going to have to probably postpone opening day, it was a shock, no question, a big shock, because you sort of thought we were finally out of this mess. And now it's really looking grim, because May 6th is supposed to be the end of the stay-at-home order, and I can't see it. I don't know how they're not going to extend it. I think we're going to find out tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday. We might find out that the stay-at-home order is going to be extended, and I don't know what that means. But the racing people, the people at the track, a lot of the big stables, they're getting ready to pull the trigger and go.
What percentage of horses that would normally be there are at Woodbine right now?
Well, I would say there's pretty much all of them, except for maybe Mark Cassie said that he had about 1/3 of the horses that he usually has here. But no, he got, I don't even know what the number is, 1,200. I mean, the workout sheets, I've got all the workout sheets here, tons of horses, because really, people thought, and I know Jim Lawson, and president of Woodbine, and Sue Leslie of the HVPA, thought that, we were going to be able to race. We were in the gray zone. Woodbine is in the gray zone, which is, everything's closed, but outdoor sports can be held. And this has sort of been a last minute sort of shock. So everybody's there. But I talked to 2 trainers this morning, and they said exactly to me, if Premier Ford extends the stay-at-home order after May 6th, then they're going to Finger Lakes, or they're going to, I don't know, wherever. If they can. I mean, they'd have to find somewhere to live, and the tracks would have to let them in, but I don't know. And our vaccines, our racing, the COVID. And I think another problem is the variants. We have a big problem with, I think the UK variant and the Brazil variant. Mostly the UK variant is really, the number of people under 40 in the hospital is shocking. Yeah. It's been getting out of hand.
Now, you mentioned outdoor sports are free to go along right now, and the major professional sports are still going in Toronto too, correct? Basketball, hockey, and such?
Well, the basketball and the baseball are not played in Toronto.
Gotcha.
The hockey is. Now, the hockey, my beloved Toronto Maple Leafs. So that's they're playing in a quite a restricted bubble, and they started ages ago. So for them to be canceled. Now look at Vancouver Canucks out in British Columbia. Half their team got tested positive with COVID. British Columbia is in a big disaster out there on their own problems. But yeah, I mean, that's sort of been a real bothersome thing to racing people, that hockey can go on, indoors. But again, they started ages ago. They've got their system going. The Leafs only play Canadian teams, so it's not like the American teams are coming up here. They only play like Ottawa and Montreal, blah, blah, blah. So I can sort of see, why they're allowed to keep going. But, people can go out golfing, and, look at people are going to sort of carouse together when you're golfing, right? It's not like you're going to stand like 10 feet away from somebody and say, nice shot. Anyways.
What do you think, how does this going to affect the Canadian Triple Crown, the bigger days of racing that you have at Woodbine and Fort Erie?
Yeah, so last year when we started June 6th, and the plate was held September 12th, and then the Triple Crown went along quite nicely. And, I got to hand it to everybody at Woodbine and the HBPA and Ontario Racing. They they really scheduled everything as well as they could last year. So now our stake schedule is supposed to begin May 1st and May 2nd. Pink Lloyd running on May 2nd in the Jacques Cartier, a race that he's won, 47 times or whatever. So now the stay-at-home order doesn't end until May 6th. Should somehow, and I know everybody at Woodbine, like, Jim Lawson and Sue Leslie are hopeful that, we can get racing by May 8th, which is a Saturday, then everything's going to be fine. We just move those 2 stakes races to that weekend and everything goes along. For someone like myself who's not quite as convinced, if we miss, another 2 to 4 weeks after that, well, then we're talking that they're going to have to move the plate again and, do the September thing. But I'm sure that Woodbine will work it out. It's just, we got people training horses now. I mean, I look at Pink Lloyd has worked, 47 flat for half a mile. He's rearing and ready to go. I mean, he's ready to go, Pinky. He doesn't slow down. And, how long is he going to have to wait until he makes his season debut?
Mm-hmm. Now, we've been doing a lot of talk about Woodbine, but is Fort Erie in kind of jeopardy at all for getting dates pushed back, moved, canceled, anything?
Well, they just shipped in to train like 2 weeks ago, and their opening day is at the end of May, I believe. Gotcha. So they are in a much better situation there. And Fort Erie actually was always one of the areas that had less restrictions going along the whole time. So they just started training. So end of May, they'll probably be okay.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned last year's Triple Crown, and one of the stars of last year, and really one of the great stories of last year, was Mighty Heart, who is racing this weekend, not at Woodbine, of course, but he's at Keeneland. Have you had a chance to take a look at that race for Mighty Heart's comeback?
Yes, I have. I've been anxiously awaiting. It's an allowance race to sort of, get him started, and it's on the dirt, which he won the Prince of Wales in the dirt last year. I know Josie Carroll, his trainer, wanted to try him at Gulfstream because she thought his natural speed style would do well there. But the field is pretty reachable. Saturday, I don't expect him to win off by himself. And, if he ran second or third, that would be good in that race. But he's been working right along, and he's had one workout at Keeneland, and the one-eyed wonder, I hope he does some good things for the gang, because he's got a wonderful group of people behind him.
He does. Well, Jennifer, our thoughts with all of our friends in Canada and the horsemen, the people that take care of the horses. It's a little bit hard to understand really why the game can't go on the way it did in so many racing circuits in the States with, the people are there taking care of the horses. There's not that much of a difference between that and putting on the races with no spectators. We hope you get back up and operating soon.
Thank you, Ray. And Joe, thank you for always, you guys are great supporters of racing up here, and I appreciate you having me on, and keep your fingers crossed for us.
All right, we'll get optimistic about it, and we'll talk to you soon once racing is going again up there.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jennifer. Be well.
You too.
To the quarter pole, Juliet Foxtrot leads it by 3 lengths top of the stretch. Tama here is in second. Etoile goes to third on the outside of Maxim Brait, Lawson Yare. Micheline at the back. Juliet Foxtrot, a 2.5 length lead in the final furlong of the Coolmore Jenny Wiley. And still Tama here in the second position. Etoile is third. It is Juliet Foxtrot in front for Tyler Gaffalione. Chased down the stretch by Tama here, but Juliet Foxtrot to win the feature. Juddmonte 16th career graded stakes win at Keeneland.
That was impressive. It was actually a very easy win by Juliet Foxtrot. Her first in a Grade 1 stakes. She's been trying for a few years now, come close before. Not only the 16th graded stakes win for the late Prince Khaled's Juddmonte Farms at Keeneland, but I saw a tweet a couple days after the race that it was their 114th Group 1 or Grade 1 homebred winner. That's just a phenomenal number, Joe.
It really is, and it really is a testament to the success that Prince Khaled had over the course of his life. Obviously, left us not too long ago, but just it's really amazing how many and just how diverse that's been. He's had winners on dirt, turf, U.S., Europe, Middle East, you name it. They've won it probably, and it's really impressive. Even some of the deepest pocketed organizations in the world aren't able to win that consistently in that many places. And Frankel was pretty good too, if we're just going to throw some horses out there.
Yeah, it's an operation that just did things the right way. They had a plan, they stuck to it. Loyalty to their to the people that are behind the scenes doing the work. It's just truly one of the most successful, respected breeding racing operations that we've seen in this game for the last 50 years or more.
Exactly. And looking at, if you'll notice in the race call, announcer Kurt Becker went out of his way to mention that was the 16th graded stakes win at Keeneland for Juddmonte Farms. Why 16, do you ask? Why a non-round number? Why not a nice, fifth? Why didn't we mention it 15th? That's because Keeneland has a very unique way of rewarding graded stakes winners. It has its milestone trophy program. It's been doing this since 1952. So every time that you win a graded stakes race at Keeneland, you get a fancy, silver cup made by Tiffany & Co. You win 8 of those, you get yourself a tray. You win 16 graded stakes races.
On something, right? So
exactly. At that point, you're going to have enough of them. You got to put them on something. You're going to be serving guests and everything. So you get 16 graded stakes wins at Keeneland. You get yourself a pitcher, and that's what Juddmonte got over the course of the weekend. Only 3 operations, actually 4. Juddmonte became the 4th. 4 operations have won the Keeneland pitcher. 16 graded stakes wins. That's Claiborne, that's Boismazon Farm, and that's William S. Farish. You win 24, you get yourself a bowl. And only Claiborne and Farish have gotten the bowl. Those 2 operations have gotten past that, so they had to come up with something new, a new brass ring for people to catch. So that brass ring was the Keeneland Vase. If you get 32 graded stakes wins, 32 graded stakes wins at Keeneland, boy, that's a lot. You get yourself the Keeneland Vase. That was added in 2016, so we've got a few operations that are chasing that. But if you do well enough at Keeneland, you can have yourself a lovely set of serving equipment for your table. Anything you need to put liquids in, they will have it for you. You just got to win a lot of races.
Well, that's great. In the names that you mentioned, Boismazon, Farish, and the Hancock family at Claiborne, and that's the best of the game. So,
oh yeah,
it's fitting that Juddmonte is part of that, and let's hope they continue. Upon his death, they said that it will continue. It would be great to see those colors continue to race for as long as I'm around, at least.
Yeah, it's such an important operation too. You like to see the important operations like that stick around even when the main principals aren't around anymore.
Well, Joe, you've been looking around at the first foals from Vino Rosso, and you've got this week's Toast Vino Rosso.
You got it, Ray. This time around, we'll turn our focus to a colt out of the unbridled song mare Melody Girl. This colt was born on February 10th, bred in Florida by Westbury Stables. He's currently boarding at Glencrest Farm in Midway, Kentucky, where John Greathouse said this was the best foal the mare had produced to date. John handles the matings for Westbury Stables, and he said he was looking to put some 2-turn stamina into this foal. As a Breeders' Cup Classic winner by one of the most proven classic sires out there today in Curlin, Vino Rosso can probably do that for you. And that's our toast to Vino Rosso.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you to Jennifer Morrison for joining us earlier on the Friday show. That's it for this week, and we'll see you next time.